Good morning and welcome to the last day of the third annual New Jersey Youth Transitions Conference. My name is April DePietro. I represent the Camden County Partnership for Children on behalf of the YTC Planning Committee. We are joined today by Mr. Erb and Miss Pamela, coming to us from Public Partnerships LLC, and they will be presenting on Be Empowered, Walking into Self-Direction with PPL. The floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you so much, April and Amy. We really do appreciate Values into Action for having us today. We are super excited that Public Partnerships was asked to be a part of this amazing conference. I also want to thank those who have joined us this early morning, and also want to just thank the committee, the conference, who have put this on. Herb and I have attended several of the sessions this week, and they've been amazing. So we just are appreciative to be a part of the conference. And without any further ado, I'm going to share my presentation that Herb and I will co-author. I'm going to ask if those who are attending, if you wouldn't mind holding your questions until the end, when we are going to save time after our presentation to answer your questions for today. If you want to put them in the chat, we ask that you would please do so during the presentation so that you don't forget what your question is. We will read the question, answer it, and we'll have a really good time. So without any further ado, I am going to share the presentation. If you would just give me one moment. Awesome. So PPL, we say be empowered, your self-direction journey with PPL for today, October the 21st. We do have a short agenda for you today. And again, we do want to take your questions at the end of this presentation. What we plan to bring to you today during this session is what is self-direction for those of you who are new to the subject. We're going to talk to you about the models of self-direction, the role of the fiscal intermediary, which is public partnerships, and that is what we do, the roles for self-direction, and the enrollment process. And again, we'll save time for any questions and answers that are presented at the end of this presentation. So what is self-direction? At PPL, there are many roles that we play in order to meet the responsibilities that we owe the state and managed care organizations, which we call MCOs. And I'll get a little bit into that just a little bit later. And we need to also, and what we also do at PPL is for self-direction, we have responsibility to the participant, and throughout this presentation, we'll call them the EOR, and we'll tell you what that stands for. And we'll also tell you what other programs in New Jersey we also work with. So defining self-direction, the participant, or the EOR, which is the employer of record, decides the when, the what type of care they're going to receive, who provides that care, and how that care is going to be received. Those who provide the support and services, which we call the employees or the self-directed employees, throughout this presentation, I will refer to them as the employees. They are accountable to the individual or the participant for receiving the care the participant needs. The freedom for one to plan his own care is the flexibility of being able to be self-directed, and the flexibility based on the personal preferences that the participant actually needs. Over on the left-hand side of the screen, you should see where PPL does partner with the states, many states throughout the US, but for this presentation, we're going to talk about New Jersey. We also work very closely with 5 managed care organizations, or MCOs, and they are Aetna, AmeriGroup, whose name is now Elevance, Horizon, United Healthcare, and WellCare, whose name has recently been changed to Fidelis Care. We work with the state, and we partner with those 5 MCOs to bring our EORs and our employees exactly what it is that they have signed up for. So again, there's much flexibility in being a part of this self-direction model. There are many benefits, more than we could take up this hour to inform you about what all those are, but I'm going to just mention a few of the benefits of self-direction for those of you who may be new again to the subject. Those of you who are transitioning into self-direction, want to give you the highlighted benefits of self-direction. Self-direction allows individuals to select whom you wish to provide the basic non-medical assistance with bathing, dressing, grooming, and many other items and activities that you are in need of. The participant may hire staff to assist with errands, meal preparation, chores, and provide transportation to places where you need to be. The traditional home health and personal care services are provided by home health or personal care agencies. So while agencies do have great value, there are times when there are staff shortages. The fear of liability may limit an agency's ability to provide all of the services that a participant needs. One of the benefits of self-directing at home is it allows the participant to pay their employee about the same or more than an agency actually pays their employee. So now we'll talk about what are the models of self-direction. There are actually two different models in the self-direction. There's agency with choice, and there is the vendor fiscal employer agent, which is what Public Partnerships LLC is. We are the vendor fiscal employer agent for our participants. There are also many roles in these two different models that are incorporated in the self-direction model. But again, time will not allow for us to provide all of the responsibilities, but I will just go through a few of them just to let you know the difference between the agency with choice and then the vendor fiscal employer agent model, which is what Public Partnerships is. So one of the roles and responsibilities that we have is serving as an employer or record. The person who is serving as the EOR, the agency, if you go with agency with choice, is actually the EOR. They're actually the employer of record. Whereas with public partnerships, the participant or the individual who enrolls as the EOR is the actual they're the EOR. The participant is the EOR in the vendor fiscal employer agent model. So the responsibility of hiring a self-directed employee, who has that responsibility? Well, with agency with choice, the individual or the EOR does have that responsibility of hiring who it is that they would like to work for them. And likewise, the vendor fiscal employer agent, which I'm going to say is us, the public partnerships with which Herb and I work for, is the EOR as well. The responsibility of setting the pay rate for the employee, well, it's the same with the agency with choice. It is the employer who gets to set that pay rate for the employee. And at PPL, Public Partnerships, it's also the employer or the EOR who gets to set the pay rate for the employee. Another responsibility or role is there is workers' compensation policy. And again, there is a difference in this particular two models. The agency with choice actually holds the workers' compensation policy for the EOR, whereas with public partnerships, the EOR actually holds the worker compensation policy themselves. And then there's service documentation. Service documentation is the information by which the employee must write down a word or two or a few sentences about the work that they have performed for the EOR. And with the agency with choice, the agency actually validates the completion that the employee states that they have performed those items, those activities. However, with PPL, public partnerships, the responsibility for validating the completion of the work does fall with the employer. The employer signs off that the work that the employee states they've done has actually been completed. So with the model of the vendor fiscal employer agent model, again, that is what public partnerships is. That model of self-direction is intended to give individuals or the participants maximum choice, flexibility, and control over how and when services are delivered and by whom. So again, the EOR has the flexibility to discuss and to decide who is going to perform those activities that they need, and also decide what the pay rate is, and they get to do that in the comfort of their home. The individual, together with his or her service planning team, and we'll talk about who that team is in a few slides later, gets to make the decisions about support services and takes a direct leadership role in ensuring that services are directed and delivered to his or her satisfaction. There are many components to the model that we present, that we provide. However, I'm going to talk about the two most important key components of the VFEA model, which Public Partnerships delivers. It's the employer and the budget authority. So let me tell you the difference between the two. For the employer authority, the individual or the participant who signs up, they serve as the employer of record and hires a self-directed employee to deliver services funded through the individualized budget. So again, the EOR gets to decide who it is that they want to work with them and for them. So the EOR enrolls, and then the SDE, or the self-directed employee, also enrolls in this program with PPL, and it's through the budget that the EOR gets to decide how much of a pay rate the employee will actually make. So again, the flexibility is great. With the budget authority, it provides the individual or the participant with control and flexibility over his or her individualized budget to purchase a range of goods and services. Individuals have additional flexibility to use their self-directed funding, not only to hire the employee, as we've been discussing, but also to purchase other goods and services not typically provided through traditional agencies. And some of these goods and services include transportation, it includes education, horseback riding, or other things that are deemed necessary for the independence of the participant to have at their home. The individual or the employer can negotiate a rate of pay with DDD, that's the Division of Developmental Disabilities, within an approved range. When individuals use their budgets to hire SDEs, that's the employee, to provide services, they are exercising both the budget and the employer authority as described. Again, there are many responsibilities that we at PPL have to provide all that the EORs and their authorized representatives and the employees need. Way more than we'll probably describe on today, but I just want to let you know high level that PPL provides assistance with distributing payroll, paying invoices, deducting required state and federal taxes, insurance, and monitoring budget amounts. And we do that through the different employees and the roles that they hold, which we will describe later in the presentation. So public partnerships, as I've mentioned, is the fiscal intermediary for the following New Jersey programs. We service and we partner with the Division of Developmental Disabilities, or DDD, and we currently have over 10,000 customers in our DDD program. We also partner with the PPP program, which is the Personal Preference Program. And currently, again, that encompasses the 5 MCOs that I've mentioned earlier. And to date, we serve over 33,000 customers within the state through the PPP program, combined through the 5 MCOs that we discussed. And again, they are Aetna, Horizon, United Healthcare, AmeriGroup, which is now Elevance, and also Fidelis Care. We also partner with the Jersey Assistance for Community Caregiving, and we call them the JAC program. And we currently service over 1,500 consumers for that particular program. And that program is specifically for elderly individuals who are 60 and over. As mentioned, there are several roles that we play for the betterment of the EOR or the participant. So the participant actually has a team of people working with him or her. And I'm going to briefly just describe what those roles are. Again, if you have any questions throughout, please place them in the chat and we will definitely answer them at the end of this presentation. So one of the roles that a participant receives is a support coordinator. The support coordinator facilitates the planning process and creates the individualized service plan for the participant. They also work with the individual to determine the number of hours of service that can be provided each week. So there's no guessing. There's no, calling and deciding, who is it that I can talk with to find out, with this budget that I've received this year, how many hours can my employee work? You will work directly with the support coordinator who have conversations with you prior to or when you enroll. There's also an optional team member that you can also engage with, and that team member is called a support broker. And that person serves as the agent for the individual or the participant. They identify immediate and long-term goals, and they help develop options for assessing identified supports and services. So they are an additional team member that you can ask to work with. So you, as the employer of record, you're the participant, you're the holder of the budget. You have the flexibility and the benefit of hiring who it is that you would like to work with you and for you in your home. The EOR, and I call you the participant, determines the self-directed employee's responsibilities to ensure services are provided in accordance with the DDD service definitions. And also, the participant does review and approve the employee's timesheets to make sure that they are accurate for submission. There are two additional roles that play a part for the EOR's team. And one of them is the self-directed employee, which we've been speaking about. The EOR, the participant, will choose who they would like to work with them or for them. And that person is called the SDE or the employee. And that employee is to provide services for which they are hired by the EOR. There's also an authorized representative, which an employer can have. And while the individual should always serve as the employer, they may appoint an authorized representative or an AR to assist with associated administrative duties if they so desire. And with that, I'm going to turn over the presentation to my colleague, Herb Collman. He is the account manager for all three of the New Jersey programs, and he will take us away with the rest of our presentation.
Thank you, Pam, and good morning, everyone. What I'll be doing is taking you through the enrollment process for the DDD program. So once determined eligible for services with DDD, the next step to enroll in the supports program to begin services are, first, the individual or the family chooses or is auto-assigned to a support coordination agency. The second step is the support coordination agency will assign a support coordinator to the individual. And as part of the transition to adult life process, the support coordinator will send a referral to PPL for enrollment into the DDD self-directed option. The referral includes the individual's demographic information and other information. Within 24 hours after the referral is received by public partnerships, a DDD specialist is assigned to the individual as a direct point of contact. That same DDD specialist will also serve as the point of contact for the support coordinator. The role of the DDD specialist is to assist the support coordinator and the individual throughout the enrollment process. The DDD specialist will prepare the individual for the role of an employer. They will enroll the employee or employees and perform the necessary screenings such as background checks. A key role for the DDD specialist is that they provide outreach and education on self-directed services and DDD offerings within the community. And they also, that as well as advocacy organization to increase awareness for the program. They're also responsible for providing ongoing and timely communication regarding the individual's enrollment activities. Within 3 business days after they receiving the referral, the DDD specialist will conduct a welcome call with the individual. During the welcome call, the DDD specialist will introduce the individual to the self-directed option. They will also provide, his or her contact information, as well as answer any question that the individual or family may have. During the welcome call, the DDD specialist will also schedule time to complete the enrollment forms with the employee of record, the self-directed employee, and the authorized representative if one is appointed. Within 3 business days after the enrollment forms for the employee of record and the self-directed employee are received by PPL, our enrollment team will review the application for completeness. If any form is incomplete, the assigned DDD specialist will work with the employee of record or the self-directed employee to make the corrections. After the employee of record forms are completed, PPL will request what's called an employer identification number from the Internal Revenue Services. Once the employer identification number is received, we will request a workers' compensation policy for the employee of record. After the self-directed employee enrollment forms are completed, we will send the self-directed employee links for fingerprinting, drug testing, and child abuse registry check. Once we obtain the workers' compensation policy for the employee of record and we receive the fingerprinting and drug testing results for the self-directed employee, and both the employee of record and the self-directed employee are good to serve, the assigned DDD specialist will send what's called the billable rate to the support coordinator. The support coordinator will use that information to update the individual service plan and submit the plan to DDD for approval. After the plan is approved, DDD will transmit the individual's authorization to PPL. Once PPL receives that authorization, the assigned DDD specialist will contact the employer of record, the self-directed employee, and the authorized representative if one is appointed, and conduct an orientation process. The orientation includes providing access to the employer of record and the self-directed employee to our portal, and also our time for care application. They'll also review the process for creating, submitting, and approving timesheets, as well as reviewing the DDD mandatory training requirements. Next slide, please. All self-directed employees are required to complete the DDD mandatory training within 6 months of hire. The DDD mandatory training requirements are implemented to ensure that all self-directed employees are credentialed to ensure the individual's safety. As part of the orientation process, your assigned DDD specialist will register you on the College of Direct Support website. These trainings courses are self-guided. The CPR First Aid training is classroom-based, and recertification is required every 2 years. The CPR First Aid training is not offered by the College of Direct Support. They're offered by certified licensed CPR First Aid trainers throughout the state of New Jersey. DDD will reimburse for the mandatory training, including CPR First Aid training hours and fees. The DDD training bundle includes the DDD life-threatening emergencies, Stephen Kamina's law, shift in expectation, the DDD prevention of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. And for this one, you're only required to complete modules 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7, and medication training if applicable. And of course, the CPR First Aid training, which requires recertification every 2 years. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our multi-language customer service team is available Monday through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They can be reached via phone and or email. Their phone numbers are for English 844-842-5891 and Spanish 844-842-5892, and the email address is njDDD-cs@pplfirst.com. So for general information or operational questions, please call and we will answer your questions and provide guidance as needed. Next slide. Next, we have a short video about self-direction and the impact that PPL is having on making self-direction easier for all. I will ask Pam to play that video.
Part of what makes this whole thing with self-direction cool, it gives you the choice to run things the way you see fit.
It's being able to keep her here, to be able to make sure that her needs are met, make sure that she's taken care of appropriately, to make sure she's not forgotten about.
And the self-directed gives them some power, some control to them, that they still are able to make their own decisions.
I don't want any facility or agency or somebody else taking care of him. I want to take care of him.
Oftentimes it's boiled down to public partnerships. Does the payroll. For me, they did a lot more and were an excellent partner in allowing me to maintain the program integrity that I was responsible for the state dollars that were going into this program.
Thank you for calling Public Partnerships. My name is Alejandro.
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Jorge.
Buenas tardes, Lola Melissa de Public Partnerships.
Hello, this is Connie calling from Public Partnerships Escalations teams.
They take the stress off doing a self-directed program to where all our focus is on Virginia and Peggy.
We are to do everything we can to create the fullest life we can create for her. The freedom that we have to make some choices because we have self-directed care contributes to that. That's the path we hope for her, and we're grateful to walk it with Public Partnerships.
My heart is starting hard, and it's been great.
All right. My apologies. I'm going to get out of that.
Thank you. So that was an awesome video on self-direction. And I must say that self-direction is growing in the Medicaid and managed care market as the...
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Did you hear that, Herb?
Part of what makes...
Sorry. Excuse me 1 second.
We hear birds, Pamela.
Okay, I think I'm on another video. My apologies. 1 second. I want to see how I can get out of that without exiting.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, of course, as I said before, that was an awesome video on self-direction. And I must say that self-direction is growing in the Medicaid and managed care market. As the individual in the video said, part of what makes this whole thing with self-direction cool is it gives you the choice to run things the way you see fit. I certainly agree with that. So if you want to have the freedom to plan your own care with much flexibility based on your personal preferences, on possibilities of what you hope for, a process where you decide when, what, how, and who provides the care that you receive, may I say, be empowered. And we look forward to seeing you on your self-direction journey with PPL. Thank you, and thanks to everyone for watching. We do have time for questions, and we will ask Ashley to read your questions from the chat, and we'll do our best to provide answers. If we're not able to answer your questions, we'll take those questions away and get your response by Monday, October 23rd. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. April, do you still hear birds?
I do not.
Oh, great. Maybe they're outside my door. I apologize. Outside my
no
window.
worries.
I still hear them. So as long as you don't hear them, that's good. I want to make sure it's not a video.
Jill in the chat said she likes the birds.
Oh, thanks, Jill.
Nature is happy. There is a question. It says, is PPL in Aetna and Horizon?
Yes.
Right. So PPL is the fiscal intermediary for the personal preference program. And with the personal preference program, we work alongside 5 MCOs, which includes Aetna and Horizon. So yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I asked a question. My name is Robbie. I'm sorry I came off mute. Hopefully it's okay. Can I just ask another question onto that?
Yes,
Or
sure.
Yes,
wait? Okay.
of course.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm trying to get the acronyms right. So it's so confusing with the acronyms in this world. So my
Sure.
son does have, I think it's PPL. I think he's with public partnership. And so we do something where my mother works and supports him in his daily living skills with the insurance. And I'm assuming that's Medicaid. Now, is this different? Because I'm at an autism conference here in Atlantic City. It is very difficult when you do, both of you have it at the same time. So, but I'm trying. So, it ended yesterday, but one of the things I heard was that, oh, no, you could use your DDD budget to pay yourself as well to do stuff for your son. One is vocational and one is daily living skills. Is that right?
Right.
Am I?
So you mentioned PPL. Yeah, and sorry about all the acronyms. I certainly understand that. As far as the managed care organization, which are the insurance companies, they do work with the two programs. Is one, you have the personal preference program, and then you have the DDD program. So your individual can be dual enrolled. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering okay, well, that helps. So thank you. That's very helpful. And yeah, yep. Is this video going to be recorded? Is this video, so I have to go back to all of the videos eventually. Is this video recorded and we'll be able to review it later on?
Yes, Robbie, we actually will have almost all of the workshops recorded on a playlist. I'll put that in the chat for you to be able to subscribe to, so you'll get updates as soon as they come through.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So sorry about the Autism New Jersey conflict. We didn't realize they were going to be this week also when we scheduled our sessions last December. So we know now what their plan is for 2024, and we won't be coexisting at the same time for people to be able to attend both. Sorry about that.
That's
Thanks
awesome. October 24th, 25th. Please don't do it those 2
Yes,
days.
ma'am.
Thank you
We
so
got
much.
you.
All right. All
Thanks
right.
for being here today.
I see another question that came through.
You want me to read it?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you so much.
Says, I asked on another workshop, but Horizon told me that PPP is only for persons with severe physical disabilities, and that since my child can walk up and down the stairs, she will not qualify. Is this true or false?
Well, one of the requirements for individuals on both program is there must be a Medicaid recipient. So if they're a Medicaid recipient for the PPP program, they will need to actually engage with their care manager for the MCO, which is a managed care organization, and they will make a determination with regards to the individual getting services through that program. To answer your question, is it true or not? It depends on the outcome of the evaluation by the MCO.
I was muted. There's a follow-up. It says Medicaid through family because the youth is under 18.
I'm sorry. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more? It's a Medicaid through family. I'm sorry.
I believe the participant is under 18 years old.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So if the individual is under 18 and the individual is a Medicaid recipient, yes, what you should do is reach out again to your MCO. And as I mentioned before, it will be based on the evaluation from the MCO to make that determination.
Okay, it's this person's understanding that her daughter can't be on Medicaid by herself until she's 18. So I'm assuming that when that happens, she then follows that process if self-direction is what they're going to, and then to reach out to you guys, correct?
Right. And as I mentioned before, she does have the option to dual enroll. So if she's under DDD, she can actually apply for that as well as PPP.
Okay, excellent.
Any other questions? We really appreciate you hanging out with us this morning.
Absolutely. I just put a plug in for the New Jersey Self-Direction Conference, of which PPL is a co-planning agency, along with the
Thank you.
Collaborative for Citizen-Directed Supports New Jersey, and Easter Seals. Easter Seals is a follow-up presentation to you all today.
Great.
But together we do the self-direction conference for those that are interested in learning more about self-direction. It's November 2nd through 4th, and you're welcome to join us. It'll be online via Zoom as well.
Great. Thanks for
Excellent.
mentioning that.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That concludes our workshop on Be Empowered, Walking into Self-Direction with PPL from Public Partnership LLC. And we were joined today by Pamela and Herb. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We really
you.
appreciate being here. We do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, and thanks everyone.